name's Charles Hilton, and this is my wife, Alexis Hilton. And I'm just here to read her my informative speech about the dangers of nuclear energy. So the general purpose of my speech is just to inform everybody about the things and how it affects people in cities and places like that, and how we can find alternate sources of energy. And my thesis statement was nuclear power plants should be banned from cities because people who live in cities with nuclear energy plants fear the threat of being exposed to unusual levels of radiation. The waste produced by nuclear reactors is extremely hazardous and can leak radiation. So one of the main things I wanted to go over was I wanted to ask people, not a lot of people know, but what exactly is plutonium and how does it affect us in our environment? So plutonium is the chemical element of atomic number 94. It is a dense, silvery, radioactive metal of actinide series used as a fuel in nuclear reactors and as an explosive in nuclear fission weapons. So basically that's saying it has certain uses. It could be a positive use or a not positive use. It can be used in things like bombs and things like that. And it can help, but it can also harm as well. It can help by being used in fuel and things like that. So my thesis is that nuclear energy power plants should be, but no, I just read that. Yeah, I already read, that's the same thesis from earlier that I just read. And then I spent probably about a few weeks studying it and reading up on it, things like that. So I don't know everything about it, but I've learned a lot in my time researching things like that. And then I'm gonna go into some reasons on why it's bad. First, just some more general information. This is my dog. People fear being exposed to nuclear radiation because the exposure to nuclear radiation can cause hair loss. It'll kill nerve cells and small blood vessels. It can cause seizures, and it can cause immediate death. The radiation damage to the intestinal tract lining will cause nausea, blood vomiting, and diarrhea. Something else, the waste produced by nuclear reactors is very unpredictable. Radioactive waste can vary greatly in its physical and chemical form. It can be a solid, liquid, or even something in between, such as a sludge. Okay, I would like to explain to you all the parts of the world that use nuclear power, especially for electricity, because it costs less. But nuclear energy relies on uranium, which is a scarce resource that is found in a few countries. The point, all parts of the world use nuclear power, especially for electricity, because they cost less, but nuclear energy relies on uranium, which is a scarce resource that is only found in a few countries. Okay. Electricity occurs due to nuclear fissions. Fission occurs when uranium nuclei and are bombarded with neutrons. The neutrons hit and split the uranium nuclei into fragments. The fission releases a lot of energy and other neutrons as well. Something else, radiation leads to pollution. Radioactive contamination also has another name. Radiological contamination is the deposition of or presence of radioactive substances on surfaces or within solids, liquids, and gases where their presence is unintended or undesirable. Contamination presents a hazard because of the radioactive decay of the contaminants which emit harmful ionizing radiation such as alpha or beta particles, gamma rays, or neutrons. Something else, nuclear energy power plants are a major target for terrorist attacks just because of all the things that they present, and it's a really big target that can do a lot of harm to people. Dropping in explosive material on nuclear plants will cause a lot of harm in cities, and it will have a very negative effects on its people, such as long-term injuries or children being born with distortions since it has the greatest potential and due to the chemicals that are being released in the explosions. According to articles and newses, a massive earthquake tsunami hit Japan and resulting in tragic deaths, as well as a nuclear catastrophe in Fukushima. And the nature of nuclear accidents, they leave a long-lasting radioactive legacy, according to articles and the news. A massive earthquake, tsunami. Yeah, this is all right. Something else, the storage of nuclear waste is also a big problem for society. Okay. Basically, main thing I've been saying is that nuclear energy needs to be gotten rid of. The dangers far outweigh how it helps us. Nuclear reactors generate the material that is used in the construction of nuclear explosives. If this material falls into the wrong hands, like a terrorist group, for example, nuclear weapons could be manufactured and used in terrorist activities. This would almost certainly have a horrendous outcome and may result in many injuries and deaths of innocent civilians. Thank you for your time.